Starting out with a wood I'd never heard of, Granadillo. I think I'm saying that right. Very hard, from Central America. Never seen it before. It's supposed to be an alternative to rosewood. So we're going to start this project out, and it's not going to go well. Took it to the bandsaw to try to make it round. And the bandsaw just hated it. Hear that popping sound? That popping is the blade stalling. It's a brand new blade. It's fully tensioned. The wood is just too hard. Eventually here, I'm going to switch to a stick so I get my hands out of there because I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. Now it's going to get stuck. It's just going to stop, and see a deflection right there, and there it goes. I can't get it off. I'm going to have to muscle man it off from here. I managed to get it through. I'm trying to make this round to make it easier on the lathe. I'm about to give up, but I kind of make smaller cuts. It seems to work better. So I'm a little worried about this. I don't know how it's going to cut. I don't know how the lathe is going to react. It's very hard wood. That usually doesn't bother it, but we shall see what happens. After quite a wrestling match, I managed to get the piece to be round, or roundish. So now we're going to take it to the lathe and we're going to mount it. Now this is my old set. This is actually a rough turning. I did this about beginning of April, end of March. So I get it in there, we're set. You can see it's not perfectly round, but it's close enough. The lathe will take care of the rest of it. A little nervous after the bandsaw. Taking my time. Going to try to make it round, seeing how it cuts. It's not that bad so far. We'll have to see what happens. I'm a little concerned that it might crack. I don't know. We'll have to see. I've never used this wood before. Generally speaking, hardwood doesn't bother the lathe, but it's cutting fairly nice, and I kind of think I might like the way it looks. It's got that very rich look to it. So we'll continue along here making it round and see what happens. Finally got something resembling round. Here I'm going to check for round here in a second after I take this last pass. So this is just a rough turn, but I still need to get a foot on the bottom so that I can flip it around and put it into a chuck. So I've got it mount set up for hollowing. I've got a circle drawn for where the foot will be so that it'll fit my large one-way stronghold chuck. And we're going to commence to go through and put a foot on this. So this wood is very wet. It's about 19% moisture content. So I have a defined foot, a little bigger than it should be, but once it dries, it'll turn into an oval, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to take it off from the worm screw that I have it mounted to the lathe with, and I'm going to flip it around so that I can hollow it out. I'm going to leave a lot of material in there so that I have something to work with once it's dried, because it'll probably come out to be an oval, not a circle. My favorite bowl gouge is going to make short work of this. We're going to get that nub in the middle where the tailstock is attached to the bowl to hold it into place. And eventually here we're going to get a little bit of a tiny catch, and it's just going to break and come off. This wood is very brittle. I'm a little concerned later on I might get some cracking when I start to bring that wall down. There goes the nub. So you can see there where I had drilled that hole. I'm switching to a carbide here because I can't get the bowl gouge in there. Like I said, I always feel like I'm cheating when I switch to a carbide, but I have the tool. It's kind of silly not to use it, and it's very effective. So we're getting close here because this is a rough turning. I want to leave some material on here. I don't want the walls to be thin. I want to leave some on the bottom because when this dries, it'll turn into an oval. A little more flattening out the bottom. In editing, I realized I really didn't need to do this because I know what's going to happen because I edit after I'm done. So I know this is kind of a waste, but I got that nice, pleasing line moving across there. Here you get your first look at really what this wood kind of looks like. It's beautiful. Kind of reminds me of mahogany and rosewood combined. Now I'm going to do a check with the moisture meter, and it's 15%. I said it was 19 earlier, so we're at 15% moisture content. Okay, it's a month later. It's been upstairs drying. I have a special tent with a dehumidifier in it that dries it. It's down to 6%. I'm going to use the one-way chuck and the tailstock. I'll trap it between them, then I'll expand the one-way chuck into the mouth. I'll get it going. It's not turning true, but it's already an oval, so it really doesn't matter. I just need to cut a circle out of here. So I'll make it turn here, kind of reestablish the center. Then I'll flip it around and true it up. After I got the foot the way I want it, I'm going to switch to making sure the sides are running true. Now I have to be careful. It's an oval, so I need to take a couple of passes to make it into a circle. But I'm going to have to do the same thing on the inside. So if I do that and I take too much off, I won't have enough material to turn the inside into a circle. So I got to be very strategic here and take off just enough to shape the bowl, and then take the bulk of it off from the inside once I know the outside is running true. Once I get the outside shape dialed in, I'm going to take a negative rake scraper and go over it. So far, this wood is cutting like a dream. It's really nice. I've got some tool marks, but it's cutting nicely. So far, so good, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I got a little bit of ingrain tear up. Not too bad. I'm going to add some shellac. This is our first time really seeing the grain in this wood, and I gotta say, wow, this is not what I expected. This is nice. Another one of my favorites. While I have it mounted, I'm gonna drill for my token on the bottom. Once that's set, then we're gonna start sanding it. I'm gonna start at 180. I don't think it needs any more than this. So we'll start with 180 in our sandpaper, and then we'll move our way up to 220 and flip it around. So far, sanding wasn't too bad, but in the future, something's going to happen that's going to make more sanding, but we'll get there eventually. So I'm going to flip this guy around. There you can see the inside, and we will remount him and start to hollow. The inside's not too bad. It's not too oval. I didn't get too much deflection on the inside. I'm still concerned about cracking. I'm thinking this wood might be brittle. I should have taken it out before 6%, but I lost track of it. So we're going to keep going here. I'm being mindful that this could be an issue and trying to not do what I just did and get a catch on the side. I got the inside roughed out. I'm concerned about that transition from the bottom to the side, so I'm going to switch to a bowl scraper that's got a round nose on it, so I can kind of use that to define that transition. The side is starting to feel a little thin. I've got to be careful about that. So I'm keep paying attention to that. I think the bottom is still too thick. I'm going to take a lot more passes on the bottom to bring that in. But the sides, they're kind of getting there, and I am pushing it here a little bit. I should be more worried about cracking. I'm not, but I should be, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes. The bottom is still way too thick, so instead of tearing it with the scraper, I'm going to switch to the bowl gouge. I'm going for about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8, so about maybe 9 millimeters in that range is what I want the depth of the bottom to be. I don't like the bottom to be too thin. Now that I cut the bottom to be much thinner, I'm going to switch to my scraper. I'm worried about that transition from the bottom to the side. I keep going at that side. As I look at this, I cringe. I'm trying to tell Pastod that you need to stop this, but Pastod never listens to me when I'm editing in the future. So, he's just stubborn that way, I guess. So we're going to keep taking that side and working that transition and making that side thinner and thinner, risking a crack as we go. So we are going to see what's coming up here. That scraper is still pretty heavy-handed, so I'm going to switch to my negative rake scraper, move any tool marks, try to clean up anything, continuing to get on that bottom a little bit and those sides. What I've been fearing since the bandsaw wouldn't go through it, that this wood would be brittle, and I was right. I have some cracks right on the end grain. You can see it here. It's kind of T-shaped. It's only on one side, although I'll hit both sides with some CA glue. So I'm going to let Past Todd explain what happened. I think he did a pretty good job. So here we go. So our crack is here, right on the end grain. So if this was the tree standing up, and your leaves and your top of the tree was here, then the bottom and the roots would be down here. So the tree is going through. We have a crack right here on the end grain. I don't have a crack on the other side. I just have it here. So what I am thinking is, it's pretty tight. When I was spinning it, there it moves. It moves pretty good. So what I'm thinking here is that I'm going to add some CA glue just to see, not should I fix it, can I fix it? I'm kind of curious what I can do. Well, so if this doesn't work, I could reduce this bowl down and make it more of a dish than a bowl, because it wouldn't be very deep. I would lose probably half of this size here. Okay, I'm going to hit it with the Starbond thin CA glue. I'm going to go inside and out. I get a little bit of bleed through on the inside. See, I'm adding some there just to be safe. It kind of dripped all over the place, but that's okay. Now, once I finish with the accelerator and get this thing locked into place, I'm going to add some shellac to it just to seal it up a little more. And here's our shellac, giving another peek at the grain on this wood. It's very warm. It's a very rich wood. I like it a lot. I think this is a very beautiful bowl. With the shellac sitting overnight, I'm going to move on to power sanding. So I'm going to start at 120 this time, not 180. Walk through the grits up to 220. I'm going to work the crack here because I've got a little bit of imperfection. Get rid of the CA glue, try to hide that as best I can. So I'll power sand it all the way up to 220. Then we're going to move on to wet sanding. And with the power sanding finished, I'm going to move on to wet sanding. I use mineral spirits, not water. I don't want the water near my lathe. It'll tend to rust it. So I'm going to start with the Scotch pads, walk up through it, yellow, red, purple, and white. I am hopeful that this will give me a great finish. This wood is so hard and so rich, I can't wait to see how this comes out. And with the wet sanding done all the way up to the white Scotch pad, I'm going to flip it around so I can access the bottom and clean up the foot. This Q-chisel on its side is a negative rake scraper. Going to clean up any tool marks, and I got a little bit of runoff from the CA glue, just some gunk in that corner there. That chisel gets in there real nice, cleans it right up, and I got myself a nice bottom. With the bottom all degunked, I'm going to move on to sanding. First, I'll sand it by hand, then I'll switch to the wet sanding with the mineral spirits. I will go over almost the whole side and the foot to make sure I have a good transition there. And you see on the lathe, on top of the motor electrical mount there is a future bowl coming out, which is a spalted maple bowl, which is just spectacular. You should be seeing that in a couple of weeks. On this, I'm going to add a base coat of Waterlux Universal Tung Oil Sealer. I'll put that on, generous coat, let it sit for a while, then I will wipe it off. It really drinks it up quite well. This should help bring out the grain, at least I'm hoping. Let that tung oil soak in overnight. Next day, time to add the token, little medium CA glue to hold it into place, and we're ready for the final coat of finish, or final coats of finish. Going to go with several coats of Waterlux Satin. Adding in a generous coat, letting it sit on there. I'll wipe a little bit of it off. I'll do probably 1 coat on camera and 2 or 3 off camera. Another sneak peek of a future project there in the lathe. That is the plumb bowl. Plum is a wood I've never turned before, and I made a natural edge out of it. You should see that one sometime in July, maybe late June. That one turned out pretty well. This one, the current one, is really coming out. The Granadillo bowl is looking fantastic. I love this wood. It takes the finish nice. It's so dark and so rich. I just love this. Another one of my favorites. Okay, the Granadillo bowl. This one is finished. I got away with a crack. I cannot find it. I've looked for it. It's in there. I know it's in there, but can't find it. It's got this nice, warm color. It's just one of my favorite woods. Came out just spectacular. I was a little worried when we started out and had that trouble with the bandsaw, but worked out just fine. I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments. Do you want to see more live edge? Do you want to see more epoxy? What do you prefer? I read and I reply to all comments, so let me know. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.